McCollum on Business. I'm Stephen McCollum, and for the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to get you updated on what's happening around the business world here on this Thursday morning. And look, the roar in Iran and where we're standing with it right now, it's really stabilized the stock market here this week. Expect it to continue, I think, unless maybe bombs start falling again. So something to keep an eye on, obviously, but we've had a lot of success out there. We know earlier in the week that the stocks have regained all of their losses over the last month with that war. So we're positively trending in that right direction. Of course, we'll look at stocks we're paying attention to, the market watch, national and local stories that you need to know, including we've got some food stories coming up for you later on in the program as well. So let's get it started with that market watch. Oil has settled down over the last several days. No issues there, at least with no big run ups and things to that effect there. No, it looks like we're having an issue with our market watch, which is fine. I'll just tell you here where we are at. Everything is slightly down today, is what we're looking at. So Dow Jones right now, well, it's down 39 points to 48,424. S&P 500's down to 2 points right now. It's trading at 70.20. The Nasdaq's down 55 points to 23,960. The Russell 2K is the lone one that's up here today. It's up 1 point, so basically even at this time. And I'm looking up really quick here since obviously the service we use there for our deal isn't working here right now. Was working earlier. Bitcoin right now trading at 73,777 here today on the market as well. So, everything's basically even, kind of just a sit there kind of day after. But it's been a strong week so far here with the stock market. And some big companies doing some big things here over the last day or so with their announcements. First stock we're going to look at, PPG Industries is what we're going to look at. They do paint. They do other things besides paint. Mainly as paint, but they do things like soda can, the like Coke cans, the red and stuff on the metal, aluminum. They do all that type of stuff as well. They're a paint and coating manufacturing company. Well, they're up 5.43% here today. All because they said they're doing a global price increase of up to 20% across the whole board of their company. 20% is what you're looking at here. They say up to, but folks, I can tell you, I saw a lot of the specific departments being 15% and above there as well. PPG did say that the price hike was already in progress. They cited volatility in the petrochemical, energy, and transportation markets, and that's what's driving up costs for raw materials and packaging across its value chain. They're saying that's the reason why they need these price increases. No shocker there, right? Oil, gas prices, oil for packaging, oil for shipping, with things. So PPG up to a 20% increase across his portfolio. The market likes that because obviously means bigger profits here for the company. That's why they're up 5.43% here today. And then PepsiCo is the next one we're going to look at. They announced yesterday after the market closed, 1.91% up right now. The thing from PepsiCo is, they've been struggling with their Frito-Lay brand, big price increases over the last years, shrinkflation with their products over the last several years, and people have stopped buying their products. Earlier this year, they decided to do a price cut for their products. Well, it's apparently worked, right? Their first quarter results beat analyst expectations, which is why they're up here 2.14% right now. PepsiCo earned an adjusted $1.61 per share. The expectation was $1.55 per share. The revenue came in at $19.44 billion. Well, the expectation was $18.94 billion. And I can tell you, looking at the actual numbers here of PepsiCo and sales, the price decrease does mean more people have started buying their chip brands again and those types of things. I call them the Frito-Lay side of it. But, those snacks have been started to be purchased again with that price increase. And then there's Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, obviously a big presence here in Phoenix as well. They're down 3.03%, which is interesting because they actually posted an earnings and revenue beat for the first quarter. profits of 58% for Taiwan Semiconductor as well, overall as a company. And they're down 3% here today. So that's always an interesting dynamic on the market. And that tells me their good reporting and their good profit number. Well, that was built into the market here leading up to their releasing there. And now some people are, unloading the built-in numbers there. And like I said, 58% jump in profit for them. It's not all good for Taiwan Semiconductor. They did warn about Iran war impacts that they haven't seen yet in terms of their numbers. So they're kind of signaling things that might be coming up in future reportings for them as well for Taiwan Semiconductor. But when we come back later, we're going to look at three stocks: Voyager Technologies, a space firm, getting some good news there. We'll talk about them. Flutter Entertainment, parent company of DraftKings out there. I'm sorry, parent company of FanDuel out there. Wrong company. FanDuel. We'll talk about them, and then Travelers Companies, insurance company as well. We'll talk about when we come back and talk about stocks again when we look at the market watch. And but around other stories besides, obviously the war side of things. No, this is a war story, but this came out and this was fascinating because when I saw this headline and read about it, I was thinking this is something recent. No, these conversations I'm about to tell you about with the Department of War and some auto manufacturers, it's been going on since before the Iran war started. And the Department of War came out and said that they are, quote, committed to rapidly expanding the defense industrial base by leveraging all available commercial solutions and technologies to ensure our warfare maintains a divisive advantage. Yeah, that came from a Pentagon official to Fox Business, is where we get this story. They went on to say the department is aggressively pursuing and integrating the best of American innovation wherever it resides to deliver production at scale and drive resiliency across supply chains. Why are they saying that? Why are they saying that to Fox Business? Well, senior defense officials have discussed producing weapons and other military supplies. Well, they've been talking to top executives from several companies, namely General Motors and Ford Motor Company as well. The Wall Street Journal gave us that reporting yesterday. This harkens back to what? World War II days, where car manufacturers took over making wartime tanks and bombs and things as well. Well, the outlet, the Wall Street Journal, I should say, they reported that the Pentagon is considering having the companies use their personnel and factory capacity to ramp up production of munitions and other raw materials. Obviously, because not just the Iran war still going on, but the Ukraine war fighting still happening as well. The discussions did begin, and this is what shocks me. The discussions did begin prior to the conflict in Iran. So they were getting ahead of this before the Iran stuff took off and things, but harkens back to that World War II area here with this reporting coming out. Now, some good news for Boeing, right? We haven't talked about Boeing here on the program in a while. A couple years ago, we talked about them a lot with how bad their year was going. New CEO comes in, then we started talking about how good things were going for them, and it continues here as well. El Al, that's an Israeli airline. They came out yesterday, or early this morning, I should say, and they said they're going to buy up to 12 more 787 Dreamliner aircraft. Those are the big ones there from Boeing. It's a deal worth $1.5 billion. Uh, the El Al is trying to take advantage of its dominance of the Israeli market, during the conflicts of Gaza and Iran that have been going on for years now, right? Under an amended deal with the U.S. aircraft producer, Boeing, El Al said it was exercising its option to buy six more 787-9 Dreamliners. They also want to convert an option for the purchase of four of the planes into more advanced and efficient 787-10 models to be delivered between 2030 and 2032. They also granted options to purchase up to six more 787 aircraft. Those are used on those big flights from the United States to Asia from Israel. The delivery for those will be between 2033 and 2035. So a big order coming in for Boeing as well. And in that story, LL does say, we're going to worry about financing when we get closer to delivery date. So, yeah, but how about that? Is that not an American thing to do? Hey, we'll put it on the credit card and worry about it later. Right, we're always talking about oil prices. They are coming down now with oil prices stabilizing at least this week with the blockade happening there over in the Middle East. Well, it's interesting here that Chevron's president of global refining, his name's Andrew Waltz. Well, he told CBS News that Chevron, well, it's running its Pascagoula, Mississippi. I'm probably saying that city name wrong. They're running that refinery around the clock to process crude, specifically from Venezuela. Waltz said Chevron is moving to curb prices to consumers if the war in Iran does continue to drive them up there, right? So they're trying to use the Venezuelan oil to counter that. And the gasoline prices, as we know, are the highest levels since 2022. So basically, what he was saying was a tanker can carry up to 400,000 barrels of Venezuelan crude. They fill it up down there in Venezuela, and they bring it up here, and it supplies that Chevron's Mississippi refinery, and it'll supply it for 4 full days, 24-hour processing. The oil imports are helping both bring revenue to Venezuela, but obviously helping Americans, he says, as it's continuing to drive down those costs. So that story just got me interested there. One, Mississippi, they're hauling that oil from Venezuela to Mississippi to refine it. But two, that's a 400,000 gallon tanker for 4 days. And the other thing that kind of caught my eye is Chevron, man, really hyping up what they're doing to try to get gas prices down. I found that an interesting part of that dynamic as well. And just this is just a story to make note of here. We still have several months before you got to worry about what it's going to be, but Social Security COLA, right? Cost of living adjustments. They've projected it already into 2027, and they projected to be 2.8% in 2027. That means it's unchanged from this year's increase of 2026. So that's going to increase the average monthly benefit for retirees. It's going to go up about 56.69 cents. So $56.69. Estimation months in advance than when it's actually decided. But that's what they're looking at right now. Lawmakers are weighing a proposal to cap those benefits. We told you about this before. They want to cap them at $50,000 per individual. Well, they're trying to address the funding shortfall that could lead to cuts of roughly 24% by 2032. As those are those insolvency rules that are in play starting in that year. The proposal is likely to face strong opposition. There's no doubt about that. One of the reasons why is most seniors obviously oppose benefit cuts and rising inflation. You know, they don't want it to happen. They're living off these fixed incomes. So they're going to really step up and fight this as it does strain household budgets moving forward. But, you know, that's the preliminary COLA adjustment coming up. Just wanted to pass that along that it's starting to come out as well. And if you're planning on traveling soon and, you know, you're traveling on one specific airline that, you know, keeps threatening to go out of business, keeps threatening not to go out of business, etc., can't find somebody to merge with, you have a ticket with Spirit Airlines, maybe it's time to wonder a little bit here if you should probably maybe get a refund for that. Well, they could liquidate as early as this week. Multiple sources, multiple companies are reporting this right now as well this morning. So the people that are saying so spoke on the condition of a nominee, of course, because no, nothing's been made public yet. Even Spirit said we do not comment on rumors. Yeah. Well, Spirit, you know, has been struggling to regain its footing in the world here from its second bankruptcy in less than a year, but it faces the added challenge of that big spike in prices of fuel, and that's really hurting it coming out as well. Fuel is the airline's biggest expense after the labor side of things. The exact day the carrier would begin liquidation, well, they didn't announce that, obviously, and nobody knows for sure. Bloomberg, though, was the first to report on a potential liquidation. And like I said, several other outlets, CNBC, Fox Business, CNN Business, all started reporting it here this morning as well. And folks, when that starts happening, that's probably an accurate representation of what's coming down the pipeline. So I just want to make you aware of that. If you have travel plans coming up and it is with Spirit Airlines, well, maybe not. You might want to look at other options there for you just in case. And there's a big update here, right? That Live Nation Ticketmaster, where they settled with the Department of Justice last month, but the states are still going after them for monopoly tactics. Well, a federal jury yesterday in New York, well, major blow here to Live Nation Entertainment. They found that the concert ticket company and everything else they do, the ticket, venue, etc. But basically, we'll just call them the concert giant here. Well, and Ticketmaster. Well, they found them liable for monopolistic practices in the ticketing industry. Like I said, this is the state one here that we're talking about. The verdict stems from that sweeping multi state lawsuit that accused the company of using its dominance in concert promotion and ticketing to stifle competition, inflate the prices while doing so, and limit consumer choice, meaning you have to go with them and pay their fees no matter what. This lawsuit was joined by dozens of states out there. They alleged Live Nation engaged in that anti competitive tactics. These are the ones where they lock venues into long term exclusive agreements. They leverage control over major tours and artists to pressure venues to for them to go to certain venues that they control the ticketing price on, things to that. This is the same lawsuit where you found out the president who has been promoted of a certain division was laughing at consumers having to pay the higher prices and everything, and saying how what suckers you are for buying those tickets. Or jurors did conclude yesterday that the company's conduct led fans to overpay by about $1.72 per ticket. That came out from Bloomberg News. Doesn't sound like a lot, but you add up the ticket prices and that's billions of dollars. And as you know, now this is the state one. And now you know why the Department of Justice and Live Nation settled so quickly. Live Nation wanted nothing to do with this lawsuit. And with that settlement with the Department of Justice, well, they want to appeal this verdict, according to Bloomberg News. No shocker there that they want to do that as well. So they lost the state case, the multi-state case there between that company. So they're obviously going to appeal it. Something to keep an eye on. The government might have said we're not interested in breaking you up anymore because you're going to do some certain things. But the states, yeah, they're still going after them. And remember that judge was even like, states need to settle this as well. And Live Nation was like, the states aren't settling this. It'll be an interesting battle here coming up on those and I'm all for it. Break up that company, get it back to the way it used to be, so prices are competitive and prices go down again. When you have a monopoly, you're able to just raise prices to unbelievable levels. Some companies don't take advantage of it. Some of them do out there. Speaking of monopolies, when we come back here at McCollum on Business, we're going to talk about APS. Their monopoly, they lost something yesterday. We'll talk about what they lost and what that means for you APS customers out there. Plus, we'll look at the market again. We'll look at that Voyager Technologies, Flutter Entertainment, the parent company of FanDuel, Travelers companies as well. Talk about that APS story. Chili's, Kraft Mac and Cheese. 2 stories coming up for you here. Yeah, let's get into it with the food stories. Come on back. McCollum on Business, Thursday edition. Back here, McCollum on Business Thursday edition. Appreciate you joining us. Of course, right after this program, we get this up on demand here, Robot TV, on our YouTube page for our company, production company. TME Media AZ is where you can find all of our production stuff as well for free. Of course, podcast systems out there for all the shows except for this one. And also, don't forget, we are now on Rumble as well. The Real Matrix is over at Rumble. So we're going to utilize the sports side and the business side there as well, since we're utilizing that page. So YouTube, TME Media AZ. On Rumble, though, it's rumble.com/user/TME Media is where you can find it there as well. As soon as we get done here, we get it uploaded to those sources. We appreciate everybody catching it on demand as well. We go right into the main event, 8 to 10 a.m. here on Thursday. Uncle Lou comes in at 9 o'clock. We'll talk UFC. We'll talk college baseball, NHL hockey. Their playoffs are about to start as well. We'll get into that with Uncle Lou today. Of course, the first hour will be me and Dale Hellestrey hamming it out, getting ready. Diamondbacks yesterday and all the sports news with the NFL draft coming up as well next week. We are a week away from that. We are doing a draft show, by the way, 4 p.m. next Thursday night, the 23rd. Bruce Cooper, me, Dale Hellestrey, special guest probably joining us. And as well, we'll be talking the NFL draft as the picks are announced there for the first round of the NFL draft. So make sure you join us while you're watching the NFL draft out there as well on, what was that, ESPN or the NFL Network, which I guess is now ESPN, right? So you can watch it there as well. So don't forget YouTube, TME Media AZ. Follow us also on X, TME Media AZ on X. That's the parent company Twitter page. Just give us a quick follow there. We're going to do some promotions and things and tell you what we do as a company here as well on that Twitter page. The main event, pit stops up for the week as well, was up yesterday. Looked back at Bristol. Looked ahead to Kansas this weekend for the NASCAR boys and gals. Well, and then Long Beach for IndyCar this weekend as well. So pit stop is up on the YouTube page, TME Media AZ, and also on Rumble, TME Media as well. The pit stop is the Pit Stop Talk on X. If you want to follow us there and interact with us on X, or at least follow us, we'd appreciate it. And then on your favorite podcast systems, just search the Pit Stop with Steven or the Pit Stop Talk. It'll come right up for you on your favorite service. Tomorrow, the Real Matrix new episode comes out as well. Chemtrails is the subject tomorrow. 10 a.m. here at Robot TV. Noon on Rumble, rumble.com/users/TME Media. And of course, the free podcast system, The Real Matrix, on your favorite podcast system. Just search The Real Matrix Angry Patriot. It'll pop right up for you. Folks, it's a good time to be around here as well. And with that being said, let's get into the Market Watch. And we are having an issue with, for some reason, we're having an issue with our tickers here today. No big deal. You'll just have to hear me explain it to you while you're not watching it. The Dow Jones right now is down the 116 points. Right now, S&P 500 is down 7 points. The Nasdaq's down 55 points right now. Russell 2K's down 4 points. Earlier on, the Russell 2K was the one that was in the green, just barely, like 1 point. S&P hit a fresh record before the sell-off at that 7,015. The Wall Street is continuing a strong week, even though there's a sell. This isn't a big sell-off here today. Maybe it's just people taking their money out. Maybe they did their taxes yesterday and realized they needed money to pay their taxes, so they're doing some selling of stocks here today to equal that out. Bitcoin, by the way, also today, 73,777 is where Bitcoin is trading at as we are talking right now as well. Stocks we are paying attention to right now, a company called Voyager Technologies. Well, they're a space tech firm. They're up today 3.64% right now. Well, they're in the news because NASA selected it for its 7th private astronaut mission to the ISS, the International Space Station. The mission is expected to launch no earlier than 2028. But big news here for Voyager Technologies, 3.68% up based off of that news. And then Flutter Entertainment is next up. Parent company of FanDuel out there, down 3.13%. I'm seeing a lot of negativity toward these online gambling sites right now, right, with the apps. I even saw during the NCAA tournament, something like 90%, it was like high 80s or low 90s percentage of people that place bets were existing customers. These companies get very few new customers now. It's almost like if you're going to gamble on them, you've already done it, right? Very few people are jumping on that bandwagon afterwards. Well, now they've been downgraded at City. Yeah, they're at sell now. They were at buy before. Well, City does say that it's less conviction in Flutter's growth prospects in the U.S. That's why I brought up the story I read during the NCAA tournament. Just the growth is going to have to be, it's just going to be a maintained growth. You're not going to see that. Now, if they get another state able to gamble, another state comes on board, obviously you'll see some growth from that state moving forward. But yeah, so City, less faith in Flutter Entertainment here today, down 3.21%. And then let's go insurance here, travelers companies. Yeah, they're down today as well, 3.21%. I'm sorry, 0.49% right now. I apologize. Well, the company delivered an earnings and revenue beat in their first quarter result, still down today, this 0.49%. They had earned reported earnings of $7.71 per share. Expectation was only $7.07 per share. The revenue came in at $11.92 billion. Well, the expectation was only $10.72 billion. Blew the numbers away, still down 0.49% here this morning as well. So interesting when those dynamics happen with the stocks out there. It's no doubt there's some dynamics happening there as well. And let's get into at least one local story before we get into some food stuff out there. APS, they're Arizona's largest utility. Well, they've officially agreed not to cut off electrical service to customers for non-payment anytime the forecasted high temperatures are 95 degrees Fahrenheit, of course, or above, which basically means most of the summer or all of the summer. The problem with it is, folks, well, when we drop down below 95, if you have 3 months of a bill you haven't paid, and you're looking at $1,000, $1,200 bill, you're gonna have to pay it at that time. So still don't want to get behind, but at least there's some relief for you out there. This is all part of a $7 million settlement of that lawsuit prompted by that 2024 death of that 82-year-old woman up there. I believe it was like Surprise in that area up there. Her power was disconnected, and then she ended up dying in her house due to that heat as well. This all comes from Attorney General Chris Mays, was involved in that lawsuit. The settlement with APS, well, it previously prohibited shutoffs because of non-payment between June 1st and October 15th was their limitations before. So now it's any time that's forecasted 95 degrees or higher, which obviously is going to stretch that into May as well, moving forward. And then sometimes like last year, we were we were well over 95 degrees at the end of October as well, right? So that $2.7 million of that 7 million will be deposited into a state consumer protection fund. Another 3.4 million will be to improve a program that lets customers designate family members or friends as emergency contacts, and then your emergency contacts can receive notices to help prevent shutoffs as well. So you have an elderly parent like this 82. Yeah, her family had no idea her power was cut off. It's just a sad situation there as well, and it is greedy for these companies in those temperatures to cut services off just because of a payment, situation. That's the new change here that's been agreed to. APS making those changes coming up. Then let's get into some food stuff, right? We know Chili's has attacked McDonald's before, right? The QP burger over there at Chili's, basically the quarter pounder, right? They can't call it the quarter pounder, so they call it the QP. We talked about that one before. It was supposed to be limited time, but it's still on the Chili's menu. I was at Chili's earlier this week and was still there as well. But Chili's is now advertising and celebrating chicken fillets 80% larger than McDonald's McCrispy there at Chili's. And I'll tell you this as well, the QB burger, very affordable. These chicken sandwiches, also very affordable. So bigger chicken breasts, more affordable as well. So they announced this earlier this week. They're expanding their lineup of big crispy chicken sandwiches. And they are included in the 10.99 3 for me bundles, by the way, for those of you that it's a fantastic bundle. Drink, appetizer, drink, meal course there for 10.99. It goes up from there. There's 13.99, 16.99, depending on when you order. fantastic combo there at Chili's as well. So they're announcing this out there. Chili's did say with an expanded full lineup of six big crispy chicken sandwiches, all hand battered and way bigger than McDonald's McCrispies. Chili's is giving guests the abundance and quality they actually deserve. I love these fights, man. It's so great. Chili's has been and is leaning heavily into size and value comparisons as part of the marketing push of these sandwiches. I'm not a chicken sandwich fan, but look at that size of that chicken breast there. No kidding. The company said internal research, meaning Chili's, internal research with them found its chicken fillet is on average more than 80% larger than McDonald's. So now their Chili's is focusing on that right shrinkflation thing, where if prices get stay the same or get more expensive, and the size of things shrink. Well, not there at Chili's. They're the opposites happening as well. So this new lineup features six variations: classic and spicy. Everybody has those. They also have honey chipotle, Nashville hot, buffalo, and a deluxe version topped with bacon and Swiss cheese. There coming your way. So McDonald's, well, they're making their own push as well. We talked about this before, but we talked about their new drinks they're coming out with and everything. But they're still attacking those budget concert consumers as well. The revamped McValue menu is set to launch here in just a few days, April 21st. We told you about that a week or so ago. 10 items priced under $3. A $4 breakfast bundle coming your way as well at McDonald's. So these guys are still a fast food restaurant and a casual restaurant battling it out there as well. And I'm here for it, folks. It's absolutely fantastic. And then, well, mac and cheese is just one of the greatest dishes ever made, in my honest, poor, humble opinion. But now Kraft mac and cheese they want to bring some restaurant flavors to you, folks. We'll wrap up here with this good-hearted story, and my goal is to just make you hungry out there. So they're going to have Romano, Cacio e Pepe, Monterey Jack, caramelized onion. Yes. I'm not kidding you, folks. You see them there on the boxes if you're watching us right now. They're offering three new varieties inspired by the elevated flavors of restaurant-style mac and cheeses out there. So according to Kraft Heinz, Restaurant Edition, it's meant to mirror restaurant-style mac and cheese in all facets, but one. They're saying it's not going to be restaurant pricing out there. The Restaurant Edition boxes, they also are 30% more food than the classic blue boxes. So they say Restaurant Edition brings quality, affordability, and experience of dining out together, all without leaving home. That comes out from Kraft Heinz in a statement. They say, so there you go. So where can you get it? When can you get it? It's coming soon. That's what I can tell you. It's rolling out at retailers nationwide later on this month here. It's only a couple weeks left. The ingredients, well, it's packed with 10 grams of protein per servings. Each flavor was designed to balance bold taste with the familiarity of Kraft mac and cheese. So it's coming out here in a couple weeks. So Parmesan pesto is one of them. That's a fresh from the pantry dish that balances herbaceous basil pesto with sharp Parmesan cheese and gemello noodles. I should have read these and learned these words before I started saying it, right? The Romano Cacio e Pepe, peppery richness or pecorio Romano cheese with pipette noodles there. Then the Monterey Jack caramelized onion is the other one that's coming out. A first to market mac and cheese flavor balances the savory taste of caramelized onion with milky, mellow Monterey Jack cheese and cavatappi noodles. I don't know about these noodles. These are just give me noodles, man. Do they become soft when I boil them in water? Is my question. Three flavors, restaurant flavors coming your way, folks, if you are interested. Coming out later on this month. I'm excited about it. I can't wait for that as well. And boy, now I'm hungry. Well, folks, McCollum on Business is wrapping up here on this Thursday. Of course, Uncle Lou coming up on the main event here, 9 o'clock. Me and Dale, 17-year NFL veteran, Dale Hellestrade will get you started here at 8 as well. Come and join us there. And otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. McCollum on Business. Have a great afternoon.